me say this too, man. The reason why buy and hold is so sexy, right? Let's look at, I'm gonna give you a list of my 5 greatest investors. It's something I'll never talk about, right? So 1, Warren Buffett, right? Top of my charts, depending on how you did, average 29% on average. So that means some years he had 43, some years he had 30, he averaged 29% rate of return, yo. That's amazing. That's amazing, right? Next, we talk about one of my favorites, Monesh Pabrai, which was a student under Warren Buffett. He averaged 25%.
That's a sleeper, though. That's when you know you study, but go ahead.
Yeah. Monesh Pabrai, one of my favorites, right? Averaged 25% rate of return. Another one of my favorites, Guy Spivey, right? Spivey. He averaged 25% rate of return, right? Another one of my guys, Joel Greenblatt, right? Joel Greenblatt, right? Averaged 40% rate of return. But the reason why his is so much higher than them, because after about 18 years, he said, man, I'm too good at this shit. He just got out the game.
Yeah.
Right? Out the game. Right? He just got out. He's just like, I'm too good at this shit. I'm gonna get out the game. Right. And so you can take those guys right there. Oh, my bad. And Peter Lynch on average, I think his was somewhere. Yeah, Peter was somewhere between 29 and 35.
Yeah.
And Peter, I'm not mistaken. I can't get it off the top of my head. And that was over their lifespan. You're like, this is what I'm like. And these are buy and hold guys. Right? These are people who buy great businesses and they chill. Warren Buffett, when he bought See's Candy, I want you to give this little story, right? He bought See's Candy, which was a candy that, you know, people that created candy. The guy wanted $29 billion for the business. Buffett said, I will give you 25 billion, nothing more, nothing less. I'm sorry, 29 million for the business. Buffett said, I will give you 25 million, nothing more, nothing less. 30 years later, the business produced $1.2 billion for him. $1.2 billion 30 years later. Now, just think about this when you think over the long run, right? So you say, but damn, if the dude wanted 29 million for it, and you still in a 30-year time span made $1 billion in return from it, why not pay the 25? Because you can't predict the future. What you can predict is what this business is worth, right? And I'll pay for you what it's worth for him. Now, me and Ian, we may give a little wiggle room. Buffett was like, nah, I'm 25 million, nothing more, nothing less, take it or leave it. The dude sold it, he got a return of $1 billion. The company produced $1 billion from over a 30-year time span, right? So that's just saying how understanding the value of a business is what helps you in this game. Here's something that you can write down, right? Here's something that you can write down. A great business isn't a great investment if you get it at the wrong price.
Absolutely. Yep.
Made a church say amen.
A great business isn't a great investment if you get it at the wrong price, y'all.
Yep. AT&T is a classic example, and Bonawyn talked about that when he came on. Like, AT&T will pay a premium for everything and sell it off for 10 cents on the dollar.
That's a fact.
Everything. There's some people like, well, it's a good dividend. I'm like, they haven't had a good acquisition in 15 years. How? It's like paying LeBron $83 million this year. I love Bron. I think he should get whatever he feels he's worth, but 83 is a bit. Like, AT&T makes that mistake all the time. And then in that Warren example, that's 41x. We talked about ratios before of multiples that people are looking for, like it was close to 50x. Can you tell them about, because I saw your newsletter this morning about the company that makes percentage of every iPhone sale. You want to drop that for him real quick?
Qualcomm?
Yeah. We was big on that. We was big on that one.
Yeah, Qualcomm makes $38 for every iPhone that's sold.
Yep.
Right? One of the things I love to do is, so a lot of times what happens is people, and I think right now I'm 250 shares in on Qualcomm, right? Got in at $72. Got in at $72. So one of the things I'm big on is looking at supply chains. Like, I'm big on that, right? I'll look at a business.
You got in at 72?
Yep.
Okay, damn.
Proceed.
Got in at 70, and I told my trappers, like, yo, this is a good price. So one of the things we can do is we can say this, yo, like, we look at supply chains, right? And I like to call this second and third consequence, right? So if you ask yourself, like, okay, Apple may be too high, right? Apple may be out of your price range for a minute, right? But what other business can eat off that? You know how they have the big shark, and then when you look at the shark, there's the fish that's always on the shark, right? So how can I still get exposure to Apple and everything it does without actually having Apple? Qualcomm, Skyworks Solutions, Texas Instruments, right? These are 3 other businesses that you can look at that have, you know what I'm saying, direct connection to Apple, right? But still, if they lose an Apple contract, they still can eat. They still can hold their own, right? They can still hold their own. So when you look at a company like Skyworks Solution, the company has little to no debt. They're going to survive regardless.
Absolutely.
Look at Texas Instrument, whatever they do for Apple, they still have another business sitting on the side that just helps them.
It's a sleeper.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, y'all. Like, this is how we play the game. Like, you don't always have to look at the big dog, right? Look at what other companies need that. If you're looking at marijuana stocks, okay, cool. You like marijuana stocks, right? Cool. What is something else that can do if marijuana stocks don't get legalized or something don't go in the way? Okay, cool. Scott's Miracle Grow, SMG, that can be a play for you. Why? Because not only are they the #1 fertilizer for all marijuana brands, they got a whole home and garden section that they do on their own, whether they use weed stocks or not. Right? Another one, IIPR, they lease land to marijuana growers. Second consequence, right? So if marijuana stocks don't get legalized, okay, cool. This company is still doing what? Leasing land to them, right? So we got to stop always looking at the main business and say, okay, what is the second and third consequence to this business? What is the other supply chain to this business? How else can I eat off this business? Like, let's stop looking at the big companies that the TV's always producing and pushing
like,
to us.
like Zoom. And it came out. 5ix9ine got bought by Zoom. Shout out to everybody in Stock Club. Like, you got to go and look in the trenches, because even like what Scott's Miracle Grow, same as like Pool, you got to look for companies that have legal monopolies that are not going to get broken up. Like SMG, Anheuser-Busch. There's a few companies that have a dominant force that will not be broken up. That McDonald's on the real estate side, like there's so many companies that fly under the radar, but they actually have a legal monopoly.
Lamb Weston. If you're looking at McDonald's, Lamb Weston. Who's Lamb Weston, Trap? It's the people who make all McDonald's fries. Right? But if you don't get McDonald's, like, okay, Trap, man, McDonald's might be kind of high. Okay, let me go look at Lamb Weston then. Why? Well, what if they stop doing business with them? Cool, they're the #1 potato business. So even if they didn't deal with McDonald's, you go another way, right? Let's say, okay, Trap, the airplane industry, bro, they got too much debt. I told y'all about Alaskan Air. We told y'all about Southwest. Way a long time ago, those were the only 2 airplane companies I ever would have got into, right? But Trap, what if I don't want to get into the airplane industry? Okay, cool. Look at JB, right? The transportation business. Why? Trap, why don't look at them? Because when you look at airplanes getting tugged around in the airport, JB Hunt. Airplanes get tugged around in the airport. Who you think do that? JB Hunt. What else do they do, Trap? They also have transportation that gives the airplane their food. So when your food is going on the airplane, you in first class eating, that comes from JB Hunt. They're making that go around, right? So what happens is we look at the big business and then we never look at the businesses on the side, right? You're looking at the Christmas tree, but you ain't looking at the ornaments, right? Let's look at the ornaments, because that's what make the Christmas tree look good, right? Apple is a great business, but they don't make screens. Right? They don't make screens. They don't make
ancillary businesses that are protected.
Right? There's different businesses inside of Apple that can pay you for a lifetime, y'all.
Unbelievable.
They said the collection plate's going around.